Welcome to Backyard Family Fun, the podcast from Pride Pool Spas and Leisure Products in Claxton and Savannah, Georgia. Celebrating 50 years serving our community, this family-owned business has spent decades helping create memories that last a lifetime. Whether you're a pool owner, a spa lover, or just looking to turn your outdoor space into a true retreat, we've got you covered right here on the Backyard Family Fun podcast. And as a crazy awesome deal for our Backyard Family Fun podcast fans, you get 10% off anything inside either location in Claxton and Savannah, excluding pools, hot tubs, or saunas when you mention the podcast. That's all you have to do. Go and visit the Claxton or Savannah Pride pools, mention the podcast, and get 10% off. Now that's a reason to celebrate. Welcome back to Backyard Family Fun, brought to you by Pride Pool Spas and Leisure Products. I'm the producer, Dee Daniels. Once again, we're in the virtual studio today, and I'm really excited to introduce my next guest, Brandon Moss, who is a Georgia rep for Palm Coast Sales, who handles many of the great products that we have talked about here on this show, including the one we're really excited to talk about today, which is Green Mountain Grills. I have lots of questions. I'm already hungry just talking about it, thinking about the grill. Brandon, welcome to the show. Thanks for being here.
Thanks so much for having me. I am very excited to discuss the product, discuss the brand, and all the fun stuff that you can do with it.
Absolutely. I feel like Green Mountain Grills, before we kind of get into specifics, I feel like Green Mountain Grills have really been on the radar lately, really been pushing their promotion and you've just been hearing more about it. I mean, you know, here in the South, obviously we're cooking outside as long as we can. Even most of the year, really, we're able to be outside. Curious what you think. I mean, I just feel like it's on the radar more these days.
Yeah, you're right. It's a little bit of a different market being in the South than up. I guess I don't really know what happens up north because I've never really spent much time there. But yeah, we're cooking out. Grill season is January to December, unless there's a little snowstorm, then, you know, all the roads get shut down. But other than that, it's grill season all year. This is a good time of year for Green Mountain. This is Black Friday sale time of year, where you can get some good pricing on some grills this time of year. So there's definitely a promotion going on with that. That's being pushed out through the media. And it's just a good time of year. The weather's great. Everybody's happy. It's a good time to fire up those pellet grills.
I'm glad you brought up Black Friday because that wasn't even on my radar. You're absolutely right. What a great time to be taking advantage of some of these deals. I want to get into the specifics of the Green Mountain Grills because, you know, if you don't know much about them, I guarantee there are a few fabulous things that will make you fall in love with them, because one of the things that I know a lot of the grills are moving towards this, but I think people love it in the Green Mountain Grill is the Wi-Fi smart control technology. This is kind of I can do it from anywhere, anytime, fit into my routine sort of thing. But I'd love for you to talk a little bit about the specifics of this smart technology and how it's really changed.
It has made smoking, especially, more attainable to the everyday user at home. Especially in the fact that, you know, a lot of us are out working jobs all day. It's tough to smoke these long cooks during the week, especially previously without this, because then you were having to trust that maybe your grill wasn't going to catch on fire during the day,
right,
or that the power wasn't going to cut out during the day. So now that this technology has come out, and it's been out for a couple of years now, it really makes cooking, smoking, long cooks attainable during the week. So on the Green Mountain Grill specifically, everything can be tracked and adjusted through your phone. Once you hook it up to your phone, you can take it from 150 degrees to 550 degrees. You can track all the temperature of the meats from your phone. And so, yeah, the big example everybody likes to use, of course, is brisket. Brisket takes a while to cook. You could put the thing on at 7 a.m. in the morning at 225 degrees, track it all day from your phone, track the temperature of the meat. If it gets done before the time you can get home, you can crank the grill down to where it just stays warm until you get home. But also, we don't want to admit it, but sometimes we're all lazy. And when we're watching football on Saturday, we may not just want to walk outside to check the temperature of the grill,
Right.
which is another great thing you can do from the app. So, yeah, it's made cooking a lot easier. It's still fun, There's still some enjoyment of doing a home smoked meat in that sense, but it's just made it so much easier to do it in your everyday life now.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think about too, the holidays, one of the things that we like to do is smoke the turkey. And you think about putting that in there. Whatever it is that you want it to be in for a long time and you're going to be doing other things. Gone are the days where we have to go check on that every 20 minutes when you have this kind of technology.
That's right. Yeah, they just made it so easy. Especially, well, turkey, I don't know about you, but for me, I have multiple houses I have to go to during Thanksgiving Day. And so if we're having dinner at our house, I can be out and about at these other houses and still cooking it while I'm at these other houses. So once again, like I said, it has just made it so much easier. You get the convenience of an oven and you get the flavor of an outdoor smoker. And so it just
Mm,
combines two things together that it's kind of hard to say no to, just to be
that's
honest.
right. That's right.
Who doesn't want that? Now, yeah, anyways.
That's a great way to put it. I love that. That should be their new tagline. They should steal that from you. I like that. I like that. Now, the Green Mountain grills am I correct that they're exclusively 100% hardwood pellets?
That is correct.
Talk about that for those who maybe have not done much of that. I mean, you basically have the wood fired,
Yeah,
taste going on no matter what you're doing, and you've got choices within the pellets.
that's right. So essentially, if you look at the pellet grill industry as a whole, a lot of the pellet grills they have the same core concept. They all start with a wood pellet, as you said, that's essentially wood shavings that's been compressed into pellets. And so you're getting the flavor of wood while the grill itself, though, is doing all the work to get it to the temperature that you want, as say an oven would. And so if you look at the quote unquote anatomy of a pellet grill, you've got a hopper that has all your pellets, typically 15 to 20 pounds, depending on what grill you have. That hopper then feeds into an auger tube. This auger tube takes pellets from the hopper to a fire pot. Then you have an igniter that ignites the pellets. You have a fan that stokes the fire. And there we go. And then the way that we get there with every grill is a little different with the controllers and this and that. But the essence of it is they're just fun to cook them. I don't know how else to say it.
Right, right. And I mean, I'm thinking about, years ago when you're really want that wood-fired taste, it's a constant thing where you have to go and do all of those things that you're talking about is automatic in the Green Mountain Grill. So you have to go and, if you're adding some wood chips, how long did we soak them before we put them in? And then we put them in and then, how fast are they going to burn? Soon as they quit burning, my temperature's going to drop very quickly. So now the consistency piece is off. So you're constantly having to do all of those pieces yourself when you were wanting that. And this takes all of that out of the mix.
It does. There's only a couple things you have to keep track of when cooking on a pellet grill. For one, you got to make sure there's power. You want to make sure there's pellets in the hopper. And the third thing is you just want to make sure it's kind of clean to keep it from catching on fire.
Mm-hmm.
If you do those three things, you're set. And so, like you said, instead of having to now, you'll never quite be able to replicate the airflow and the true flavor that you can get from an offset smoker where you're feeding the wood. But the convenience factor of it can compensate for that. For
Right,
most, not for everybody,
like you
but for
said, you'll be
most.
able to do it in the middle of the week when you when you weren't normally doing that. That was
Right.
an all day Saturday job when
Right.
you could.
Well, so the kind of the punchline I always say is, if you're in Savannah or if you're in, Raleigh or if you're in California, if my grill is in Atlanta, I could have turned it on that morning and track it, fly to California, keep tracking it, and fly back and have tracked the grill. Well, I guess when you're on the plane, maybe not, but um,
Right.
yeah, whenever you have Wi-Fi services available,
Yeah.
well, you don't need Wi-Fi as long as you have cell data. You can track the cook the whole time. So I don't. Sometimes I think when we say Wi-Fi cooking, we forget that not everybody knows what that means, and we just
That's
kind of
right.
breeze right over that. And it truly means so. Green Mountain's a little different also in that we have what's called server mode and local mode. So server mode would be it's your own Wi-Fi. And so that means the grill is hooked up to the Wi-Fi of your house, not literally
Mm.
hooked up, but it's across the cloud.
Connected,
It's hooked
right?
up.
Sure.
Yep. And that you can control the grill as long as you have cell service from anywhere on the planet. And it's kind of hard to fathom. I wish I knew how all that worked,
Right.
but I don't. It just works, which is great.
Yeah.
That's really all I need to know as long as it works. So you can literally be in California and control the grill in Georgia, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then we also have local mode, which is kind of unique to the brand in that, you know, if you take your grill camping or, if the power goes out, well, if your power goes out, you're not going to be able to cook. Say your Wi-Fi goes out.
Mm-hmm.
You can hook up to local mode, which essentially turns it into a Bluetooth grill. And you can still track all of that stuff just within a reasonable distance of the grill. And that's a feature that I think we overlook sometimes as well, especially it's football season. We go tailgating and all this, and grills over there, and you're over here. You can still track it from your phone. So that's a cool feature. They've done well in integrating that into the product.
Absolutely. Yeah. And really, I mean, talk about user friendly. I mean, it's really, it doesn't matter what the circumstance is. And I'm glad you brought up tailgating and all of that. There are many great choices for the different models for Green Mountain grills, and I'd love to talk a little bit about that. I know specifically the Prime model got an upgrade not that long ago, from what I understand, but I mean if you're doing like RV lifestyle, there's something for that. If you've got we don't really travel that much because we've got a fantastic outdoor kitchen that we have by the pool. So we need this kind of model. There's
That's right.
something for every scenario. If you'd love to talk a little bit about some of the different models.
Yeah. So right now we've got essentially three models of product. We've got our Trek, which is it's the kind of I call it the tailgater grill. Now, for two people at home, that could perfectly be sufficient enough to just for the both up for two people. But it's portable. You can buy a little cart that you can move it around on, but it comes to be a tabletop version of a grill. And it is fully functional, just like the rest of the products. It's just a smaller grill with a smaller capacity hopper. And so if you were smoking something longer, you'd probably have to refill the pellets mid-cook, which would be different than the rest of it, than the rest of the models. But you can still control it from your phone, which is different. A lot of tailgater grills, you can't necessarily do that.
Mm-hmm.
So Green Mountain has kept that consistent across the model. So that's our entry level one. Then we go to our Ledge Prime 2.0, which is it's the most popular size. It's the middle of the ground for us. It's a bigger grill, comes on a cart. I'll get into the features of Green Mountain specifically in a second. And then
Mm-hmm.
we have the Peak Prime 2.0, which is our largest version of the grill. So we have I guess if you want to say a good, better, and best option as far as size goes,
Mm-hmm.
across the lineup right now. The one thing I will add is on the Trek, being it's a portable, you can't necessarily do all the accessories that we offer on the other two models. One accessory in particular that I absolutely love is our Sideburn, which is an electric infrared side burner that you hook up to where the side shelf would be. That thing is just incredible. If people complain about pellet grills, the one complaint they would have is that you can't sear like they want.
Mm-hmm.
This Sideburn helps compensate for that. You can get up to 700 degrees with this side burner, which
Oh wow.
is plenty enough to sear. The grill itself will get to 550. Some people want more than that to sear. And so now we have an option for that. So best of both worlds there.
Yeah, that's amazing. I love that. And I've never met a side burn accessory that wasn't used. I mean,
Yeah,
you will always find something you're going to be like, yep.
that's right.
Once you have it, I feel like you're always going to use it.
Yeah, it's a great. It's for the people out there that like to reverse sear steaks. I mean, you could smoke your meat and then sear it on the side burner. It really is. It's a great product.
So you mentioned some of the accessories like the sideburn. The other one that I would love for you to talk a little more in detail about is the wood-fired pizza attachment. I think
Oh yeah,
this is a lot of fun. Wood-fired pizza, nothing like it. Nothing like that flavor.
yeah. The the pizza oven attachment is cool in that this is another way that you can sear a steak in a pellet grill or in our grill if you want some higher temperatures. Essentially, it takes all of the heat coming off the hopper and concentrates it into kind of a pizza box, is kind of how I would describe it. And it's got a ceramic plate on there that's where you cook your pizzas at. But if you also wanted to cook a steak, there's nothing saying you couldn't put a cast iron skillet in there,
No rules.
and get it over 800 degrees. So
That's
that's
right.
another option to getting a higher temperature. Now, the grill itself, this is something that's worth noting. Being it concentrates all that heat, you really don't want to turn the grill over 350 degrees when cooking on that pizza oven because all the heat then gets concentrated in this small space and it'll get to the temperature you want, even if the grill itself is staying 350 degrees. Just a
Okay,
little
yeah,
good
that's
little
a good
tip
tip.
there.
Yeah, that's a very good tip. And what I think is interesting too about the way that they built these grills is that you can like for these accessories, it's coming the heat is coming off of the source that was already there, which I
That's
think
right.
is brilliant. You're not trying to add more heating components because you're already coming off of the main, right?
Right. Right. Yeah. You're literally, you're inserting this pizza oven attachment over the fire pot of the grill that's already there.
Hmm.
So, and then like the sideburn, like you said, you're taking the shelf off and putting that sideburn where the shelf would go, which is something I guess I didn't mention. Our ledge and our peak both come with a front and side shelf with the grill. That is not something you have to buy as an accessory, which is a cool just little add-in that we put on those products.
Absolutely. A lot of folks that come into Pride Pools, looking for that sort of backyard oasis and how what do we need to like fit in each one of these spots, whether it's the pool or the spa or the things that are going to go around it like the kitchen and the grill and everything that you want to sort of make that oasis happen. And I know a lot of people around here, especially in Savannah, that are doing sort of outdoor living all the time. You've got to think about the products that you buy being durable and really, to have that longevity piece to be able to be out in the weather and in the elements. And Green Mountain Grill, I feel like they really with the materials are trying to make sure that that's able to happen in this lifestyle.
Yeah, the Prime 2.0s are built exceptionally well. Being that there's electronics on this, I would always recommend please put a cover on it when you're not using it. This does have an electronic component to it, and keeping the weather off of those as much as you possibly can is just always a great. I don't care what pellet grill it is. It's a great idea to do that. So it's interesting you say that because that kind of leads me into we have a unique starting procedure on our grill. And we do it this way due to as the grills get older, things are going to happen to the grill. And we want to make it easy to diagnose what the problem is. And so if you don't mind, I'm going to kind of run through that real quick.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Just so on our grill, when you first crack open a Green Mountain pellet grill and you build it, get everything ready, you put pellets in the hopper. Well, at that time, there are no pellets in the auger tube to get to the fire pot. And so, or even after you've used the grill, just initially out of the box, I'm going to go into this and then I'll go into the starting procedure of every grill. You plug the grill in, you turn it on, and you hit the power button to get it going. Well, it's going to show a 0 on the screen. And if you've never used one of our grills before, this is a unique starting procedure. And when it goes to 0, what's happening is that auger is spinning. And we do that so that if you don't hear an auger spinning, you know, okay, well, here's my issue right here. It's an easy diagnostic. So only on the first time you ever cook to get these grills going, we essentially need to take pellets from the hopper through the auger tube to the fire pot. And so you're going to hear it go to 0. You're going to see it, you're going to see it go to 0. You're going to hear the auger spin. And then when it goes to 1, what happens is the igniter cuts on. Well, on the first time, there's no pellets in the hopper yet. I mean, in the fire pot.
Right.
And so what you do is you actually unplug the grill. Very unique. Then you do it again. It's going to go to 0. The auger is going to spin. What we're trying to do is have that auger continuously spin until pellets hit the fire pot.
Mm.
And most of the calls, if we get something on a new grill, it's that, well, the grill's not igniting.
Right.
Understandably so. We got to get pellets from that hopper to the fire pot. So you usually have to do that 2 or 3 times, and then pellets finally get to the fire pot. When that happens, it goes to 1. When it goes to 1, the igniter hits. You'll start to see a little smoke coming up from the pellets. Then it'll go to 2. The fan has now kicked on. You'll hear it, and you'll see more smoke coming out. And then 3, the fan and the igniter establish a fire. And this is very important. After that, the grill will show kind of the ambient temperature of the grill. And you want to let that grill get to 150 without adjusting the temperature. That just makes sure everything is operating at optimal capacity. Once it hits to 150, then you take your temperature wherever you want it. Do it from your phone, do it from the grill, and then we're off. So that's kind of probably a little too much detail on that, but
no, that's great.
We do have a unique starting procedure. So it's good to know when you're using the grill. This is all in the manual also, of course, but during that 0, 1, 2, 3 process, it's very easy to find out if something is going wrong. Going back to the durability thing, which of course we have a 3-year warranty on our product, bumper to bumper, as we say, kind of like in the car business. But if something were to go wrong down the road, it's easy to identify what's going on with our product, which is great because in 7 years, you've had a grill sitting out in the weather. It's got a bunch of electrical components. If something happens, you may not just want to go buy a new grill. We don't always just want to go buy another grill. We might want to fix that grill.
That's right.
You have a great chance of being able to figure that out standing in front of it.
Let me ask you about the fan as you were talking about that process. Yep. Is the fan constantly sort of running to keep everything lit and like it's supposed to? Does it run based on the temperature? And also, how worried are we about the parts, when that's going all the time? Do you think those parts give out a little quicker, or like what are your thoughts around something like the fan and all of that?
Yeah, so that's a good question. So we're getting kind of real deep into this, but there's an algorithm that the computer of the grill has. And so depending on the temperature that you have it on, it knows how much it needs to spin the auger and how much that fan needs to run. And those two work after the igniter has ignited the pellets. You really don't need the igniter anymore. Right. You really just need some airflow and you need more fuel. Yeah. And so those two work together to get to the temperature that you have set on the grill. Another unique thing that we offer is you can adjust the atmosphere that you're in with our product. And that's kind of cool to have, because if you're cooking in Canada and it's 2 degrees outside, or if you're cooking in South Florida and it's 110, you're cooking. I mean, you've got literally 110 degrees of difference there, 108 degrees of difference.
Right.
So at 250 degrees, the grill's not gonna have to work as hard to get to 250 in South Florida as it is up north. So you can adjust that so that the grill knows. It helps the algorithm to keep the grill at a more consistent temperature for you.
Yeah, I love that, because every environment is different. I mean, and I remember, trying to work that little wheel on the side of the grill for the airflow, trying to get that
Yeah.
just right, and
Yeah.
after you work that little wheel enough, it's loose and then it doesn't work like it's
Yeah.
supposed to. You know
Yeah.
how that goes. That's
Yeah.
that's never a fun thing to have to keep
No,
doing.
no, you should never have to do any of that with a Green Mountain. We don't want you to have to do that. We want you to set a button, and in 15 minutes, it's kind of ready to go.
Yeah, so you can enjoy more time with your friends and your family and
That's right.
all the football games and all the things. Last question I have for you is around a little bit more of the maintenance and what's the cleanup routine look like for the Green Mountain grills? I feel like they've got you in mind again there with maybe making it a little bit easier than what we've been used to in the past.
Yeah. So the most important thing I could ever say on pellet grills in general, is you want to keep them clean, especially if you cook hot. And what I mean by that is a lot of people, I say a lot, some people buy pellet grills just to use as a smoker, and they've got another grill that they sear on, like a gas grill or something. But if you're going to be cooking at hot temperatures on a Green Mountain or any pellet grill in general, you want to keep those pretty clean, because if you ever see a pellet grill catch fire, it's when somebody's going to cook hot and they haven't cleaned it. And the reason that happens is because at the end of these cooks, all of these pellet grills, there's ash in about 1% of every pellet essentially doesn't burn. And so it gets ash buildup in the bottom of these fire pots. So at the end, a fan kicks on to get all the ash out of the fire pot. So the next time you ignite the grill, there's not an ash buildup and it won't ignite. Well, the second part to that is all that ash is now in the barrel of the grill.
Right.
And then you get grease in the bottom of it. And so if you get things cooking real just right, they can catch fire.
Right.
And so we've done something unique in the fire pot itself, in that it's got a tube that goes out to the side of the grill to where we can't get every bit of ash out of the bottom of it. And so there's a little screw on the side of it. You can open up, put a shot back up through it, and suck out all the extra ash that's in the fire pot. But you do every now and then just want to take everything out and vacuum it up, or you can use, if you just wanted to use a wet paper towel or something, then try to get all of that excess ash and grease out of the barrel of the grill. I know nobody wants to do it. I don't want to do it. But if you're going to be cooking hot, I would recommend doing that pretty frequently.
Yeah, I love that. And it is. I think it's really important. That's a good step to have. And they've Green Mountain Grill certainly trying to make it a lot easier as you go through that process. I had one more question that just popped into my mind about this technology and where we are with grilling is just fantastic. And I was thinking about, like, what's the long-term, vision maybe for Green Mountain Grill, and I'm not sure how much more smart technology they can get. I mean, they're at the top of the game.
You know what? I wish I had the answer to that. I don't know. You're right. I mean, other than adding bells and whistles, I mean, you can control the thing from your phone. We're doing pretty good there.
We're doing pretty good.
But I'm sure, I'm sure there's always something on the brink that they're working on. So there's innovation, but we'll see where that goes. I don't know the answer to that.
We should probably just sit and enjoy where we are.
Yeah. Hey, I'm okay with it. I'll do that.
No doubt about it.
Hey, I'll tell you something else. I meant to mention this earlier, but something unique about Green Mountain. Of course, I'm talking about Green Mountain, so I want to talk about something unique. We have over these fire pots in the grill, which is your heat source. There's in all pellet grills, there's a deflector essentially that sits above these. And what's unique to Green Mountain is we make ours movable. And so to the average person, what that actually does is, usually in a grill, you have hot spots. So back left corner, back right, front right, whatever. You're going to have some place in the grill that's cooking hotter than the other. And the way you can test that, you could put bread all across the grill, turn it to a temperature, and whatever bread's burnt is cooking hotter. So you can move our fire box above the fire pot left or right to help divert the hot spots. Now, to the average person, they'll probably never do that. Just honestly, they're going to cook on it the way it comes, and they're going to roll with it, and that's fine. You just know that you probably need to pull the ribs off on the left-hand side a little bit earlier than the right-hand side or whatever.
Right.
But if you want to, you can control that variability. Just another kind of cool tip about the product.
I love that. I mean, most of the time when we're grilling, we've got several different things on at one time. So
That's right.
to be able to do that, and sort of move that around and manage that how you want to manage it for time's sake, because if you're trying to pull hamburgers off different time than you're pulling everything else
That's
off,
right.
so that's a cool feature. I'm glad you brought that up. I like that a lot. We're gonna put the links for folks to learn more about everything we've been talking about in the show notes of this episode. Brandon, you've been a fantastic expert. This has been a lot of fun to learn about this, and certainly when it comes to Green Mountain Grills, Pride Pools is always ready to help you out, give you all the information. I love how much the team at Pride Pools are educated on all of these things. And so, if you've got questions, go into the Claxton location or into the Savannah location, and they're happy to get you all set up. Brandon, thank you. This has been great.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you for having me on. Also, I think we're doing a demo November 15th.
I heard rumor of that too. Thank you for bringing that up. Yes.
Please come by. Come see us. We'll be cooking something good.
Yeah.
So, thanks again for having me on. It was great. The folks at Pride Pools, they're just awesome. Both locations, of course. Always a blast talking to them. So, but come see us.
Let the celebrations continue. The team at Pride Pools is excited to give you a huge anniversary special. Actually, 3 of them. To celebrate 50 years all year long, you can get up to $10,000 in savings on 3 anniversary fiberglass pools. There are 3 sizes to choose from: the backyard size, the family size, and the fun size. How cool is that? So stop by the Claxton or Savannah locations of Pride Pools or go to pridepools.com for more information. Thanks for listening. Come by and meet your local pool and spa experts in Claxton on Highway 280 West or in Savannah on Gateway Boulevard South, or go to pridepools.com. If you love backyard family fun as much as we do, be sure to give us a rating and review and subscribe or follow on your favorite podcast platform so you never miss an episode. And if you have a question or topic you'd love for us to cover, drop us an email, info@pridepools.com. or tap the links for Facebook or Instagram in the show notes of this episode. We'd love to hear from you. Now let's go make a splash and have some backyard family fun.
Pride Pools, Spas and Leisure.